you, man. It's like Warminster packed the house today. Nobody's in church or synagogue.
Don't mention it.
You're on your way, right after we leave. Well, we started a job in 2010 to take back the House of Representatives and fire Nancy Pelosi. You guys ready to finish the job in 2010? So, it was a big year in 2010, and we went down to the nation's capital and make some changes, and part of the roadblock right now is the realization that we've got 1/2 of 1/3 of the government, and we're passing bills through the House, they're economic bills, spending cuts, things along those lines. We still have Harry Reid run the United States Senate and President of the White House. And we've got to make those changes. When I say finish the job, we've got to make those changes. We've got to make them for a couple of different reasons. In addition to $4 a gallon gas that I just bought on the way up from Richboro for regular unleaded, the president, they can't figure out how to sign a permit for the Keystone XL pipeline or authorize drilling on public lands. They do a lot to help us. Let me just give you 3 reasons why we have to make a change of the guy in the White House. The first is for what he promised to do but didn't do. We should be probably fortunate, but think about some of the things he promised to do, including close down Guantanamo Bay. Remember that famous promise, the promises he made very publicly. We just shook our head at the time. He's going to bring Khalid Sheikh Mohammed up to New York City and triumph on our soil as opposed to down in Cuba. But think about the things that he tried to do, and but for whether it was a recent Republican majority in the Senate or for other reasons, even his own party rejected a lot of what he intended to do. Second is what he promised to do and actually did do to us, which is the $800 billion stimulus program. He said he's going to grow the government. He's trying to raise taxes. He's increased spending. We have 4 years of $1 trillion plus annual budget deficits. First time in the history of the country that happened. $15 trillion national debt. So the $800 billion, and we all read the paper 2 weeks ago today, Sunday, Jim McGinnis wrote a story for the Courier and the Intelligencer. The money was spent in Bucks County. If you add it up and divide it by the number of jobs that they disclosed on their own website, recovery.gov, comes to about $950,000 per job. And probably none of them really permanent jobs. So he's exploded spending. He tried to pass cap and trade. He did pass the health care bill, which is now pending before the United States Supreme Court. And hopefully by the end of this term, which is June 30th, will be found unconstitutional, which is what we believe it will be. And so the second reason is what he promised to do and actually did do to us. The third reason is what could actually happen to this country in the event there's a second term. What do you do to the United States Supreme Court? We all know that most of the decisions that are coming down out of the Supreme Court, they're close, divided, they're 5-4. He will be able to remake that Supreme Court in the image that he wants, in a way that could do serious destruction to our liberties and our freedoms and ultimately the fabric of our country. So, for all of us, and sometimes we don't think about the Supreme Court in terms of a presidential election, but we need to really think about it. So, we got a lot to work toward this year. We have to, we have to take back the United States Senate, and we got a lot of work to do in that regard. Because without a working majority in the Senate, the work we're doing in the House has sort of fallen on deaf ears, and we got to make a change in the White House, and this is the year to do it. And now it's it looks like everything was coming screaming toward our Pennsylvania primary. The presidential contest looks like we've settled on a candidate. I think he's an outstanding candidate. He's got a great wife who works very hard.
Yeah.
Hillary Rosen. Clearly, elections are about choices, and there's a very clear choice in this election between Governor Romney and President Obama, and where they see the country going. He's turned around private sector companies. He turned around the Olympics. We essentially need a turnaround president. We need somebody who can turn this economy around because we're heading in the wrong direction, and he's the guy that's going to be able to do it. So I know we got some work to do in this primary election. We've got some races to win. And we're going to get that job done. But as soon as as soon as April 24th is come and gone, and we get those issues out of the way, we gotta really refocus our effort. It's gonna be a long, hot summer. We got a lot of work to do. I know we're gonna get it done. And come November 6th this year, is it November 6th? I think it's Tuesday, November 6th. I'm sure we'll all be celebrating down at 115 North Broad Street.
Oh. Yeah.
Down in Warminster. Congratulations on your new majorities here in Warminster.
Yeah.
Look forward to following that lead. Do I get to take a question, Pat? Is that right? Or is it just a speech? Yeah, sure. Good questions, is that right? You guys have any questions?
You can do whatever you want.
Questions? Any questions? There are none.
Don't forget, he took $500 billion out of Medicare.
Right. That's let me just tell you what I think the campaign is going to be against me this year. I'm going to have a tough race. I mean, I focused on the Senate and the presidency, but you may have read last week that some company, you know, apparently if you're a billionaire named Soros, you can fund an upstart mobile phone company called Credo Mobile. Have all your progressive friends buy their cell phone service from Credo Mobile, put the money in a super PAC, which you say you're against, and send the money to Bucks County because they're going to spend, Credo PAC, super PAC's going to spend a lot of money. And this is what they're going to say. They're going to, their whole race is going to be about Medicare, Social Security, and the so-called war on women. But your question has to do with Medicare. When people tell you that the United States Congress and the House of Representatives is changing Medicare as we know it, you probably heard that before. We're the ones in the House of Representatives that are committed to Medicare, to save Medicare for seniors today, and strengthen it to make sure we have a Medicare for tomorrow. The other side of the aisle doesn't want to do anything to help Medicare. As a matter of fact, their plan of do nothing is, most economists will tell you, people who really watch this, that's a decision by itself, and that is very harmful to Medicare. But even worse than that, your point is when the Democrats passed Obamacare, they took $550 billion out of Medicare to fund a new program that wasn't funded for benefit, benefits for a generation that hadn't yet earned it. And so seniors, probably more than anybody, really need to focus on this question of Medicare. And I think they were actually in 2009, 2010, the way they voted, seniors in big numbers, voted to send President Obama a message because he weakened Medicare in order to create this health care benefit that's known as Obamacare. So we need to make sure that the message that we sent in 2009 and the message that we sent in 2010 and 11 is loud and clear from the senior community of Warminster and Bucks County in 2012. So when seniors tell you they're concerned about Medicare, I want you to just tell them one thing. The people that changed Medicare as you know it are the Democrats. When they passed Obamacare, they stole $550 billion out of Medicare, and we're the guys that are going to put it back for them. Thanks.